Hello and welcome back. I am 13, and today we're going to be playing a little bit of Mill and Modern. Mill is a deck that gravitates a very specific type of person in Magic, and the alternate win condition is always fun. Sometimes when I'm playing Magic, I like to pretend like it's a VR field, and if you're playing Mill, at the end of the match, like your opponent would basically just be sitting on the other side of the field drooling because they ran out of things to think about and they're done. But this deck is not necessarily competitive. It's kind of a bad version of Burn. It's going to be a little bit slower. I really want to play the more interactive build that had more discard, more removal spells, and kind of just milled a little bit slower, but unfortunately, none of those have really 5-0'd recently. This is fairly stock. There are a couple of cards that are unique, but this is what Mill looks like post Modern Horizons. So let's go ahead and break it down. So first and foremost, we are hoping to get good value out of Archive Trap. Big Red is about the only deck that we can't force a deck search for. So we're going to hopefully take advantage of Archive Trap with Field of Ruin or our opponent's fetches, just hit 13 into the yard. Then we're going to run out Mesmeric Orb. We're going to basically make it so that anytime opponent taps, they're getting a little bit closer to dying. And then our Powerhouse Mill card is Glimpse of the Unthinkable, 2 mana to mill for 10, and that's a sixth of their deck. That's actually very powerful if you're thinking in terms of burn spells. That's within the ballpark of like 3.5 damage. So it's not quite lightning bolt efficiency, but opponent starts off with 7 cards, so it just gets a little bit better when you're actually looking at taking them down. A common sideboarding plan is probably going to be just add some sideboard cards and go a little bit less consistent. But then we did get this new toy out of Modern Horizons. Well, I guess that was actually M20, but it's about the time Modern Horizons came out, of Scheming Symmetry. So we're going to choose 2 players of note that does not target. You choose them. Each of them searches their library for a card, shuffles their library, and puts the card on top. So this is another way to force the search for Archive Trap. We're hopefully going to mill their top card while leaving ours intact. This might get slightly awkward with Mesmeric Orb if we have one out, at least on our side, but we'll try to draw with the Visions of Beyond. And then we get Surgical Extraction to, again, force them to actually shuffle their deck after we put a card on top. Also taking out their win conditions and kind of just being generic mill 3 cards. In most cases, potentially a discard spell. And unfortunately, Ashiok doesn't work with Scheming Symmetry because it spells your opponent's control. But Ashiok will make it so that it turns off their fetch lands. It'll also make us permanently exile their graveyard, as well as milling 4 cards up to 5 times. So hopefully she's going to come in pretty clutch for us. Then we do have a single copy of Ensnaring Bridge to tutor for with Symmetry. We have Visions of Beyond after we've actually milled a decent amount. It's draw 3. Otherwise, it's a way to cantrip and draw the card off of Symmetry for the turn. And then we have Crypt Incursion. So this is going to be really good versus Hogok and Phoenix and cards that just decks that care about cards in graveyard. But it's going to gain us some life against Burn, and yeah, it's basically a little bit of coverage and lets us stay in a little bit of a longer game so that we actually don't die immediately. And that is Mill. So hopefully going to have some fun with this. Again, it's not overly competitive, but it is very capable of winning games. This is a Fatal Push right off the bat. We have a Mill spell. We have a way to recast Archive Trap if we draw into one. Yeah, I mean, this is what we signed up to play. Mission Briefing can also rebuy a removal spell if we end up needing it. I'd really prefer not to shock in this Watery Grave, especially if I'm expecting discard on the other side of the table. So Polluted Delta will let me remove a creature if I think it's coming. And it's looking like Death's Shadow. So we're kind of okay against Death's Shadow. Opponent is going to make us discard here, though. Basic Mountain? Okay, so I don't think Grixis actually started playing Faithless Looting, but I'm still putting them on Grixis Death Shadow. Basic Mountain actually means no Death Shadow. I'm probably getting Hogaaked here? Or Living End. This is actually probably Mono Red Living End. Okay, so that's going to be a little hard to kill. Yeah, that's going to be really hard to kill. So I am actually putting them on Blood Moon, so I'm going to grab an island here. And I'm just going to cantrip. We do have a single of Dismember that can really help. And Hedron Crab was a reason not to play the fetch on turn 1. Oh well. Mill opponent. Looking like stock hollow one. Chat, if you have any idea what's going on, let me know, because those Bloodghast are coming back for free, but it's looking like mono red hollow one, which means I'm probably expecting a non-zero number of Phoenixes. Yep, that's a thing. Faithless Looting essentially just gets us 2 cards closer to our goal, so perfectly okay with that. Next turn's probably going to be Glimpse. We're definitely Fatal pushing the Bloodghast that comes back this turn. I think opponent's looking for a land. Sometimes these decks play close to like 17, 18, so it's not super easy, but they end up seeing so many cards in their top X that they can usually find their way to consistency with enough brute force. The Street Wraith main 1 also looked a little desperate to try to get the land. But I don't know how desperate that is. Pitching a Tassiger. Alright. So they have Scalding Tarns. I'm actually putting them on an off-color deck. And this is a fish. Or just another Tasker. Alright. Well, Crab's going to be milling a good number for us, so I'm not going to tinker with that. That's a Surgical Extraction. Okay. I'm not going to shock this into play. I'm likely going to be Fatal pushing a Bloodghast during combat. So, yeah, that does mean I'm actually shocking this into play just so I have the mana up. Worst case, I can always just Surgical and try to grab a couple of... Fish is probably a 4 of. And I'm going to be fueling their yard. Yeah, let's go ahead and Glimpse, see what we hit. Flamewake Phoenix. That is 100% the surgical target. Lightning Skelemental and Unearth. Got to take the one in the yard. So Skelemental's coming down. Unfortunately, that's going to make contact. Do need to take a screenshot of the deck, though. So we have Burning Inquiry. We still have 4 bolts, 3 Skelementals, a couple of Street Wraiths. All right. So Hedron Crab's probably blocking. I also don't think I can Fatal Push now because my best out is them drawing a Search Effect and me Mission Briefing, although that's not going to work. So currently taking 10, 14, 18. I can stop 4. So yeah, I'm... Make that 6, 12. I'm super dead. Alright, Leyline of the Void definitely coming in. Board Clear's coming in. I'm considering the Plague Engineers. The Plague Engineers will make it so that the Bloodghasts don't survive. It also names Elemental. Killing the Skelemental actually seems really good. Extirpate, probably not worth it. I'm going to actually take out the other one. With the Leylines coming in, I do want Surgical Extractions, but I don't need to have split second on my removal spell. And I'm probably going to have to cut a lot here. So Bridge is still good. Mission Briefing is looking slightly awkward. It does have our most busted starts with Archive Trap because we can free cast Archive Trap for its alternate cost with Mission Briefing, unlike Snapcaster Mage. Fatal Push is permanent removal. Scheming Symmetry still works. Fatal Push is probably worse than Dismember, though. Crabs are still chump blockers, and Milf are a good amount. Visions might be a little awkward. I don't want to get stuck with Visions in hand, and I'm actually boarding in a lot of removal. We can run it like that. Is there anything... Crypt Incursion actually gets a little awkward with... Yeah, with the ley lines, I don't think I want the Crypt Incursions. If I don't see ley line, that's quite good, but... I think we have a decent game plan. We just ran a little rough last time around. Alright, so... Again, Mill's not overly competitive. We are definitely going to be giving it a shot, though. With so many Delve cards in their deck. Slightly rough. Alright, well we have Crab, 2 fetches, Orb. We don't have any interaction, but we've got a strong enough start. We also didn't see any Blood Moons out of opponents, so I'm less inclined to want to go get basics this time around. It did make casting things a little hard last game. Alright, opponent is currently on 6 cards, and they keep. Fastland Crab. I mean, life's good when you're casting Hedron Crabs, right? There could have been an argument to mulligan a little harder for Leyline. If opponent has discard here, did they actually run any? Let's take another look at their deck. Yeah, they didn't have any interaction. They only had the Skelementals. Save targets, always yield. And Ashiok is so nice. There's an Orb. Your go, opponent. Let's see how much you can pull off. They can Goblin Lore, they can Burning Inquiry. Odds are Flame Wake is coming back if they actually have any of their random loot effects. Did they just not have any Blood Gat? They have a single Blood Crypt. Alright, so Flame Blade is definitely getting big enough to bring back the Flamewake Phoenix. Could also be looking at a fish this turn. Although they're on Tassiger. We have 1 Angler, 2 Tassigers. And a hollow one. Alright, so Hopes and Dreams right now are a Bantu's Last Reckoning. Okay, that works. That also kind of works. I'm running out the basic here just in case I find another Hedron Crab for this Flooded Strand, although odds are this turn I'm Ashiok-ing, getting rid of the board, and then next turn eating the board. Or getting rid of the yard, and then the next turn nuking the board. We'll see if they actually want to deal with Ashiok. Odds are they will send 4 damage at her, just because they do have Tassigers and Gurmags. Alright. Makes sense. Although they didn't show us any green. They might have a Stomping Grounds in their board. Alright, all of it at me. This is awkward. So I can nuke the board, but because they left their fetch land up, that means that they're going to get their Bloodghast back. And I'm going to have to get a dual land here, so I'm actually dead to the Bloodghasts. Yeah, I think we lost this one. So I can try to Visions and draw into exactly Bantu's Last Reckoning, but that's the same effect as Damnation, so I guess we'll just go to see if they see the line. which is crack the fetch after I activate Ashiok. Damnation. Eat the yard. Okay. I don't know what to make of any of that, but I'll take it. Oh, they couldn't have searched anyway. That makes sense. I'm paying attention, guys. I'm here. Scheming Symmetry. Let's take a quick look at the deck list. So I can go get Ensnaring Bridge, draw it for turn, but I can't cast it yet. If I currently have 4 mana, so Scheming Symmetry and Visions for turn means that I can cast anything for 2 mana, which is currently a Mesmeric Orb or a Glimpse. Glimpse would turn on my Shelldock Isle, but opponent wouldn't actually be able to take advantage of that, so I think that's the line. So let's go ahead and Scheming Symmetry, choosing you and you. Just double checking. Yep, nothing I could technically Hedron Crab. That's not nearly as good. We draw the card. Glimpse you. We'll see what they actually tutored for. There's a lightning bolt. Sorry, opponent. That's not going to work. I did hit 2 of their bolts. 3. And Archive Trap will do it. So opponent has to draw exactly Lightning Bolt or Skelemental here. They currently have 3 Skelementals in the yard. 1, 2. I know he milled 2. Flame Blade's not going to do it. Not going to show them the ley line. I guess they saw one in our yard. Mill you. Eat it. And took game 2. Yay! Doing mill things. So I can mull a little bit harder for Leyline. Opponent definitely saw it. They brought in Ancient Grudge, so they probably don't have a way to interact with the Leyline. They did see it, though. Narset's actually kind of cute versus their Goblin Lores and Burning Inquiries, but she comes down too slow. I think I'd rather have Cast Down over the last Fatal Push. That actually hits everything but Tassiger, and Push can't hit that anyway. So it hits Fish and Hollow One. All right. This is turn 1 crab. Let's look for a ley line. This is better. All right, we can tuck the surgical. It's not going to do anything with the ley line out. And unfortunately, going to have to fetch to get blue for the crab on 1. This is a little bit weak to Lightning Skelemental. Oh, look at that. We're so good. Skelemental on 3 is going to take Bantu's Last Reckoning out of our hand. But have to make some concessions. It's a 3-mana board clear. Yep. Free Beats by Flame Blade. Let's target you. Save that. Always yield to that. Then I think I need the Watery Grave. I have another fetch in hand. Let's just go for the swamp. Let's be conservative with our life total. And of note, I could have attacked there with the Hedron Crab. It would have made me mill one more for the Mesmeric Orb, which would have made it so that I'd have 3 things in the yard for a Murderous Cut, but I don't think that's relevant. Alright, well, opponent missed their land drop. Flameblade has Menace, you may as well get in. Alright, and Glimpse is a real card. I'm getting the Watery Grave here. I can't do anything else, so may as well just start going for it. Opponent is definitely missing their land drops here. So we might just take it because of that. If they find a way to get on board, Bantu should just clean up, and then... Oh, look how cute that is. We know Punt has plenty of basics. Alright, they found a second land. I think I have to Bantu's now. Again, Flameblade has Menace. I can't block that. Yep, let's make our land drop. Mill you for 2 more. We can Bantu's. You won't be able to attack. You're going to mill for 2 here. If you draw exactly land and have Skelemental in hand, you're good. Maybe it was greedy waiting until that last turn to Bantu's. Of note, I also did leave up Island. It turns on Hedron Crab to mill 2 more next turn. Okay. That should be game unless opponent has a Bolt in hand. Alright, show me what you got. Yay! We did it, guys, we did it! I really don't... Oh, I guess I should... We are currently 1-0. Sorry, match record was from last night, or last Wednesday. I think the graveyard decks are typically a decent matchup because they are milling themselves for a decent amount. They are a little faster than we'd like to deal with, but we have main board surgicals and things so that we can actually fight them. Unfortunately, I'm not a master of mill. I do a lot of different videos for Squirrel Dealer, and they're just all random decks, a lot on the fringe. I've piloted mill once before, but it was like a super budget list, and I really didn't learn anything from it other than mill's an alternate win condition. All right, so I think I've already covered a couple of the nuances here. Mission Briefing and Archive Trap is really what makes this deck work. We never saw it last game, but milling for 26 for 2 mana is essentially how we want to take most of our wins. Oh, this is so tempting. What do I even tutor for? So this hand is a Scheming Symmetry and then Surgical, anything in their yard so that they don't get the benefit. That's probably going to go get me an Ashiok or maybe an Archive Trap. I have no action, but I have land drops. Oh, I have no blue mana. Yeah, this is going to have to get shipped back. This is probably fine. It's slow, but I have a little bit of interaction. I get shipped back the Visions because it's currently awkward in hand. And I have some interaction, so bye Visions. You tried. Dark Slick tells opponent that we're either fairies, mill, or ad nauseum. Look at that. We got another graveyard duck. Finale of Promise and Lava Dart. Okay. Mission briefing could technically allow me to double surgical here, but I'm just going to Mesmeric Orb. Opponent's clearly on Phoenix, probably mono red given this start. Lava Dart is a little bit more common in mono red just because you have a lot of mountains. Alright, they're blue. And I have a Dismember for that. Visions is a start. Oh, I need double blue. Alright, well, they're technically a burn deck. I don't like paying the life, but we're going to Dismember this before they have the opportunity to do any interaction. They have a Surgical of their own. Right now, I'm basically keeping the Surgical for Phoenix. They're leaving up 2 mana. Interesting. That could be the Scheming Symmetry for something good here. I actually think I'd want Shelldock Isle. So what would I take of theirs? I could take Thing in the Ice, Scheming Symmetry, the Visions of Beyond. Then I could Shelldock Isle and leave up Surgical. If they do anything with Mesmeric Orb, if they do anything before Mesmeric Orb, then I can Surgical the Thing in the Ice, take away a threat. Do I want Shelldock or do I want Crypt Incursion? Oh, this is hard. Ashiok can eat their yard, but I'm currently sitting on a Surgical, so I don't want to do that yet. Archive Trap with Mission Briefing is going to be 26 of their 43 cards. And that turns on Visions. Yeah, it's Archive Trap. Although I'm probably going to have to use this Visions to draw. Alright, invest a card in drawing. Okay, that was smart of them. They put a Faithless Looting on top. Thing in the Ice. Sleight of Hand. It looks like they're running out of gas, but there's no way. They haven't made a land drop yet, and they have multiple cards in hand. Alright, well, I want to draw this so that I actually get to get it. Another Mesmeric Orb. Alright, well, I think if I keep all the damage off the table, I'm not going to see any of these, so we'll just put them on top. Then we're going to recast the Dismember, because mana issues, Dismember that guy for a lot of life. Okay, they found an Arclight Phoenix. I guess we technically found it. We put it in their yard for them. You're welcome. Cool. So Phoenix is going to mill for 3 and snag the one out of the yard. Unless they have them in hand. I suppose it's technically a possibility. They apparently don't. That turns on Archive Trap. Let's go ahead and surgical this dude, pay life. And we took it. Okay, if the secret tech to beating Phoenix is just beyond mill, then I'm kind of okay with this. Echoing Truth is good for Thing in the Ice. Narset's good because of their cantrips. Cast Down's good because of Thing in the Ice. We're bringing in the ley line so that they can't do Phoenix. Typically, the mentality for beating Phoenix is you only bring in ley lines if you know you're not going to die to Thing in the Ice. And given the fact that I have Push, Cast Down, Dismember, I think we're kind of okay on that front. Crypt Incursion probably comes out with Leyline. If somebody is a mill expert, please let me know if this is correct or not. This just feels so awkward. I think we still want the Surgicals for the Scheming Symmetries, bare minimum. And if we end up whiffing on Leylines or they bounce it, we still want Surgicals to be able to take them out. Extirpate actually might be a little bit better than Surgical here, although Surgical being able to be free is probably worthwhile. Ensnaring Bridge should keep everything down, and it's going to be another target that requires the Echoing Truth. Ashiok eating their yard will take away all their Faithless Lootings and everything that's relevant there. Let's see, Murderous Cut. We have a lot of things for Thing in the Ice, but if we can keep them from attacking, we're probably fine. Echoing Truth is also really good versus Arya. Visions is probably slow. Ancestral Recall seems like it'd just be fantastic, but the number of times it just draw a single card, it just really is not good enough. Maybe just trim on a Scheming. Makes it a little harder to force the shuffle. Sure, we're going to play a little bit more of a control list. Alright. I really wanted this Jace to be better. I'm pretty sure that was the one that came in the dual deck that let you draw cards for every tap creature. Genius Mind Mage. Gain control of up to 3 target creatures. Yeah. That was bad. Okay, this hand is quite bad. This has a Leyline, a Crab, a Push, a Cut, a Glimpse. I like all of this. Murderous Cut's going to be the hardest one to turn on here, so that can go back for now. And we have a good Leyline. Odds are they took out their Phoenixes for Arias, but we should be relatively close to racing. This just makes their Faithless Lootings worse as well. Oh, we even found a basic. Alright, opponent. I want to count to 50. Opponent's just cantripping away. It does mean that they're crafting their hand into something really good, but it also means that they're not getting benefit of a Thing in the Ice, Arya, or Phoenix anywhere. So, cantrip away. Take those cards out of your deck. Field of Ruin. Alright, my intent here is to play the basic island, and then Field of Ruin to go get my basic swamp, just in case they are actually on Blood Moon. And hopefully take out whatever they're trying to cantrip for. Looks like we hit a Titty, another Titty, another Titty, and an Arya Flame. And a Phoenix. So they did keep Phoenix in. Oh. Lame. Again, Field of Ruin's just going to be coverage for Blood Moon. Thought Scour targeting me. I had crabs! Alright, well, opponent hasn't gotten much action going on, so they're actually trying to mill me. Don't think that's going to work out very well for them, but, I mean, give it a shot. Polluted Delta. So I'm not going to run out this ley line. Odds are they're on Echoing Truth, if anything, and this Polluted Delta, if I find my last crab, can be good. Or if they end up having a Phoenix, I'll probably want to crack it for the Fatal Push. Seeing as how they only have 2 lands means they're not hard casting Phoenix next turn, so that second line's not relevant yet. I do appreciate them Thought Scouring me, though. That just turns on Mission Briefing. I think I only trimmed 1 at the end. No, I didn't trim any. This is looking a little awkward with 3 Thing in the Ice is in exile and a Fatal Push in hand, though. Ah! So good at this game. Alright, that's a Shelldock Isle. Pretty close to being turned on. There's the last crab. So, Surgical's bad. Leyline instant speed could be pretty good. I think I'd prefer the opportunity to draw the crab. Wow, that was like a terrible Shelldock Isle. That was such a bad Shelldock Isle. At the very least, this is getting Leyline of the Void out of our deck, so it's not a bad draw in the future. There's an Aria. We get to go up to 30. That's a Glimpse. And seeing as how opponent actually does have 4 mana here, I am going to Polluted Delta. So that Fatal Push is turned on. We've only seen 1 Phoenix from them. So we're taking 1 here, we're taking 2 off the next one, 3 is going to be 6. So they could technically kill us this turn. They need to have a number of Manamorphoses, and 3 of them are currently in exile. But they're actually really close to knowing the bottom of their deck. Yeah, that's a bad draw. And I actually think I do want to cast this. No, I can still flip the 1 at instant speed. I think I'd just prefer to have my mana up. I don't think that it's relevant, but if I die, it's because they go off this turn. Yeah, Lightning Bolt really helps. Thought Scour targeting me. So they need 2 more spells off of 1 more mana. Really? That is so painful. That is so painful. Yep. We had so many live draws. So the punt there was I should have put Crab under Shelldock Isle. It was going to get turned on pretty soon, so I should have done it. Alright, well, they know we have Leyline of the Void now, so it's less likely to be beneficial. I think that just means that Extirpate comes in, and then we probably want... I don't think Collective Brutality is relevant. The kill creature mode doesn't really do anything. Phoenixes are probably coming out. Crypt Incursion might be live. But if they get an Aria going, it's just not great for us. Scheming Symmetry, we don't really have any targeted. I guess I'd actually pull a Narset. That actually might be worth a consideration. Then, sure, we'll keep a Visions. I should probably have a better sideboarding plan for this deck. It is the number 2 deck in Modern right now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, well, this is a turn 2 crab and it has mission briefing. So let's pitch those two and hopefully go the distance. Archive Trap is fine. So if we find a second blue source here, crab's going to mill for 3, possibly 6. Opponent fetches, we get to turn on Archive Trap and Mission Briefing, so we'll end up milling for around 32. It'll be at less than 20. Archive Trap could be lethal. And awesome, we actually got the land that has multiple landfall triggers. Save targets. So Aboro's in here so that I can return it to its owner's hand and make that land drop for the following turn, but that's a dead crab. That's a really dead crab. Alright, sequencing is I want to do this now so that I can get... Opponent won't have priority for me to landfall them. And ladies and gentlemen, this is called jank. This is the super jank. If I find a black source, that means I get to ping them for... Oh, lame. That might be game. I don't have visions. Sorry, Brad One. Am I seeing an old message? Yeah. Opponent did pitch themselves off of blue here. My bad. That's my bad. I tried to stay on top of chat, but... I think my outs right now include drawing 2 basics back to back. Or drawing another archive trap. I need to draw like runner, archive traps, or basics. Okay, well that's another archive trap. Opponent's not really going to be searching their library with fetch land shut off, though. So I think I might just be dead. Because I need to find a basic swamp and another archive trap. Alright, well... Opponent flips Thing in the Ice, and I'm currently looking at 7 damage. Okay, so Thing in the Ice is flipping. If they find a land, they're actually just going to recast the Phoenix, and I'm at 1. Alright, well, I think that means I'm out of outs then. All right. I'm going to chalk that one up to a little bit of bad running. We ended up drawing so many bad cards in a row there. If I was actually watching the numbers, it probably would have been close to like 6 or 7 dead draws off the top when we only needed a single spell to end the game. There was the punt with Ouroboros, Sheldock Isle not grabbing a crab. I guess I just assumed opponent would try to interact with us, but that's not really what Phoenix tries to do. So crab would have at least landed. I could have milled for at least 3 more, and that still would have ended the game. And then game 3, we just had to mull to oblivion and then got blood mooned out. But that's kind of life, though. So Visions is a bad cantrip. Scheming Symmetry with a Field of Ruin means that we could technically do something. This hand has no recursible mill, though, which means Scheming Symmetry would go get that, and opponent would get a free draw. That's pretty easy mulligan. This is a Glimpse with a mission briefing for the Glimpse and 3 mana to get it started, although this is 4 hard colors and I have a Field of Ruin. I do have 2 redraws, though. I actually might give this one a shot. Likely going to be tucking the mission briefing here just because it's awkward. All right, this is going to be Devoted Druid combo. So, look at that. We drew a Fatal Push. We're so good at this game. Nope. My bad. I have to kill a Giver of Runes, otherwise this Fatal Push gets turned off. I'm paying attention. I'm here, guys. Unfortunately, the new Green Sun Zenith actually picks up from the yard. Guess this could actually be Infect. Yeah, this is actually Infect. Field of Ruin can cover an Inkmoth Nexus then? Island, island, island. Rip. So opponent's graveyard is currently 11 cards. Glimpse will make it 20. It looks like they're looking for an Infector, so I just have to fire this off and try to get them out of their deck and just get my kill on as quick as I can. Then next turn I can Visions with Mesmeric Orb. I did find one Glistener Elf. Okay, that can kill me. And they're leaving up protection for it. So I have the Fatal Push, but they have protection. I have Extirpate so I can see their hand and deck if I assume I'm going to lose. They have enough mana to easily kill me. I didn't hit another land, which is super unfortunate. If I Mesmeric Orb, they're only milling for 2. And because this is Extirpate, I can't take a free look at their deck. I actually have to pay for it. Alright, well, I'm going to make them commit for the kill. It could be possible I'm supposed to just go for Skell up here. So this is going to be Might of Volcroza because it's in their main step. Yep. Yep, 7's not dead, so we're going to take it. I'm assuming they have a Vines in their hand. Okay. So that gives us hope. I can Fatal Push, blow a protection spell. Yep, they had the vines. And that's a murderous cut. So let's go ahead and take vines. They should have 2 vines left in their deck, which means I can extirpate and then murderous cut. Okay, actually, what I want to do first is actually draw, because I need to make my land drops. I don't know how I keep whiffing on land drops. Alright, well, that might be game then. Let's go ahead and see if they have 2 protection spells. Sure. Alright. Should have extirpated. That's hard, though. There's a give and take. Collective Brutality comes in. Cast Down comes in. Plague Engineer comes in. I'm not really a fan of the whole board clear situation. Most of the time they're going to kill us with Inkmoth Nexus if we try to bring these in. Plus they're slow. Might be Echoing Truth. This is another matchup where if we just keep their creatures under control, we're not going to have a problem. Crypt Incursion is gaining life against the Infect deck. Obviously not a good strategy. Ensnaring Bridge is probably going to be a little slow to come out. We can probably trim on the Mesmeric Orbs. They're not going to tap down a lot of stuff. And that's probably the plan. Visions, you really let me down last game. We drew like 9 cards across 3 turns, and you didn't give me a single land. Extirpate can let me look at their hand, so I actually might be a little inclined to do that over a Visions, because you disappointed me. Go to the shame board. You guys are fine, but you go to the shame board. And I guess we run that. Okay, this is Scheming Symmetry with no way to mess them up. I guess I actually have an Archive Trap. But it has no hard removal, and Shelldock's not going to be online for a bit. Okay. We can talk basic. I think I want to try to wait until turn 3 if possible. So sure, you get free reign for a turn. The idea would be that I get a Scheming Symmetry, Archive Trap, Mission Briefing, the Archive Trap, and mill for 26, as well as get my tutor. Glimpse is fine for a turn 2. This might be a fairly quick kill if it works out that way. Wow. 2 Glistener Elves. They brought in Force of Vigor, so probably a good thing that we took out a couple of our enchantments. Or artifacts, the Mesmeric Orbs. I can Fatal Push, but I can't Mission Briefing and Fatal Push after. And that was a mistake. I was actually supposed to Darkslick Shores last turn in case I top deck a 3rd one. So I can Fatal Push, they'll Vines it, but that means they're not buffing it. If I Scheming Symmetry and Archive Trap, Mission Briefing, Archive Trap, that means I'm milling for 26, as well as getting another removal spell on top of my deck. Actually, that'd probably put... Bridge on top of my deck. Couldn't come up with the word. Although they're on Force of Vigor, so that's probably not the best. They clearly left up the protection spell. I think I'm just going to be safe and go for the removal spell here. Yep, as expected. So now we get a Scheming Symmetry. We can both go get a card. And I was picturing a removal spell. Is that changing at all? I'm afraid of Scale Up here. I'm really afraid of Scale Up here. Oh, yeah, I want Plague Engineer. That's actually very easy. So we'll Plague Engineer. And just because I don't want to go find everything, let's take a quick look at this. So Noble is a human. That's an elf warrior. It's a human rogue, although they're the green-white build. So Giver is a core cleric, elf warrior, human druid, Myr, and that's going to be a blink moth. Okay. They got a path to exile? Okay, so they knew we were milling it. Good mind games, opponent. Odds are we're dead here, though. Pindlehaven, scale up a land in any of the buff spells. Okay, that works. Plague Engineer for the win. Another Glistener. Alright, they probably just have it then since they didn't tap the Pindlehaven. Might have Croza or the landfall one. Although they might use it to protect their Glistener elf. Yeah, they think I'm going for the kill. Well, look at that. So calling elf here. Could technically be a warrior, but why not? Bye-bye. And then I have a Death Touch blocker. Does Scheming Symmetry get me anywhere? I don't think it does. %100% taking the 1 damage here, because what they want to do is buff and kill the Plague Engineer so that they can run out another Glistener Elf. Darkslick Shores. I'm not going to win by attacking for 2, so Plague Engineer staying on defense. Mission Briefing to Surveil could be worth my time. I was trying to think a little too far ahead. I should have run out this land in case I had a 4-drop I wanted to play. So, Giver of Runes will give pro-black to the Ink Moth. I don't think I can kill my opponent here. I don't even have a way to draw so that the mission briefing is live. This is unfortunate. It's back down to just 1 card would have done it. Yep, there's the Scallop. And let's see what we can do. So, yeah, I mean, we can go for the push, but if they activate Giver, we're screwed. On that. And we dead. Alright, that was a pretty brutal beating from Infect. Not gonna lie, that one hurt. Infect's a really fast combo, though. They had protection, we had a little bit of removal, but Plague Engineer was pretty good there. Like, granted, we needed two of them, but it was pretty good. I guess if we're trying to do analysis there, I could have blocked with the Plague Engineer to get rid of the Giver so that future removal would be turned on, but odds are they just have a protection spell in hand, so it doesn't really do anything productive for us. This is a archive trap right off the bat. Some fuel for the murderous cut, and oh, this is so close. And we've been flooding so hard. I think I'm going to give this a shot. Because specifically what I get to do here is Scheming Symmetry on 1. And go get a land. This isn't good because I could use this as a very specific tutorable hate piece, but opponent doesn't exactly know we're on mill yet. Like, if this could go get me an Ashiok or a Ensnaring Bridge that ends the game, this feels so bad. And it's Storm, and I gave them Past in Flames. Well, I have a cut now for their Mana Dork on 2. I have Glimpse to fuel their Yard for them. What are the odds that they have enough? That's actually a really good line, Bradwan. I'm sorry, I know I'm a little late seeing your post. I'm just trying to think through the lines. Having tutors in your deck and never playing the archetype before, I'm definitely seeing some difficulties here. Alright, well, I'm just going to Glimpse. It's possible that they just Ritual into Past in Flames, cast their deck, and kill me. Although it looks like they might be missing a land. Storm's been doing this a lot to me, though. They just sleight of hand and then run out lands and I Thoughtseize, and they have multiple. Nope, they whiffed. Okay. Snaring Bridge isn't really going to do a lot for us here. I hit their snow-covered island and their island. Probably should have Spire bluffed because odds are they have a mountain left in deck. Okay, you got me. Another Field of Ruin means that if they play a non-basic, we can get them to 10 cards left in deck. There's the Ritual. Another Ritual. Manamorphose. Alright, so they do run remands. I'm actually going to go for it here. Did they search for that? Nope, they played the Steam Vents. So I'm going for this with the logic that odds are they won't be able to draw enough cards with the cards to storm off. So they have 2 islands, a snow-covered island, 3 islands, and a mountain. Crab is okay, but I don't think I want either of these. I want them in the yard so that I can Murderous Cut if they end up putting a dork out. I didn't have a landfall trigger for Crab. And this is putting opponent down to 7 cards after Manamorphose resolves. So opponent needs to get 2 more mana and... Oh, that could do it. Have another ritual. 2 more rituals. They needed to cast Past in Flames for 5 and still have mana left over. Man, do I have to pop this out? Shenanigan-y graveyard decks. 3 rituals, 4 rituals, 5 rituals, 6, 7. So there is 1 more ritual, but that's only going to net them 2 mana. I guess that could actually let them Past in Flames and do everything out of the yard. They currently have 4 mana Morphos in the yard, so they can't color fix though. They'll only have red until they start casting from the yard. Okay, yeah, they couldn't piece it together. All right, Leyland of the Void comes in. Bantu's Last Reckoning, Plague Engineer for the Gabo tokens. Narset again, going to make a heroic appearance against the Draw Many Cards deck. I like Collective Brutality. I'm not stoked about it, but I like it because it does kill Electromancer as well as Duresses. Echoing Truth is probably going to be relevant versus Arya if they've got Arya on the side. I think that they've stopped doing Arya. I could be wrong. Extirpate, Surgical, Crypt Incursion's definitely coming out. There's a balancing act here, and I'm sure somebody knows the numbers, especially YouTube. If you guys comment on this and tell me how big of an idiot I am with these 8 cards, I'd love it. This is how I learn from my mistakes, as well as furthering anybody who's watching this video can go down and check the comments, be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what you want to do. I just don't have the knowledge for that. Murder's Cut's fine. It's awkward versus Remand. This would probably be a consideration to cut, but we do have multiple removal spells that can take out their dorks. Visions might be awkward. We're not going to fill our graveyard, and we have to cut a lot. Orb's probably relevant. They're going to use a lot of mana cantripping. Is Bantu's too greedy? 3 cards in case they get Gabos is probably okay. I think last time versus Phoenix, I trimmed the Scheming Symmetry since I won't have a way to force them to shuffle. So that probably feels correct. Field of Ruin does technically make them shuffle, and we have multiple mill cards. I think I want that. I guess that's Brutality out, just because it's not going to be able to remove Brawl, although when they go on the Warren's plan, they usually trim a Brawl or 2. Glimpse is just our most gas. They probably are bringing in a single Lightning Bolt for the Hedron Crab to be a target. Bridge is bad. Why did I have Bridge still? Extirpate can't get remanded. I might like that trim. Surgical's out, Extirpate's in. Then sure, just trim an orb. So scientific. I do all the things. Okay, there's no crab or black mana here, so this is probably a freebie mulligan. Ashiok is actually really good versus the Gifts package, though. Although I think Gifts usually comes out because it's not an instant one with any graveyard hate. This is Scheming Symmetry with Glimpse. I really don't want to go lower, and we actually do have some mill cards. Without a crab, I can safely duck a fetch land. And I'm not going to fire this right off the bat because they are a graveyard deck. Crab, why? Why, Crab? I mean, it technically works, but I could have had an additional fetch land. Yep, that's a Brawl. It's very possible I just die here. Oh my gosh, do I just not want to mill them yet? Bradwan, if you're still watching, they're going to kill me here, right? Post board, they're just going to kill me, or are they going to go for some Gabos? Do I not want to mill them then? Probably goblins. Okay, then that means Shelldock Isle. And I'm going to mill myself as I don't have removal yet. Shelldock Isle wants mission briefing pretty easily. Then I'll just go for a big mill next turn. I'm not F6ing here. I want to represent the fact that I probably have a surgical or a spell pierce. I think spell pierce isn't very meta for mill, but so I think this deterministically kills me. They have 4 cards in the bin. They go get Grape Shot, Past in Flames, Manamorphose, and a Ritual. Storm count is currently 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Depends on what they have in hand and what they draw. Alright, well they have plenty of mana, so they're definitely getting the cantrips. I do think I'm dead here, but I'll just make sure that they actually do have it. So they're going to do 2 more rituals, cast a couple of rituals. They have to have it empty in hand. I guess they actually just get gifts again. F6'd. I shouldn't have F6'd. Storm count 10. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to make them click through it because they do have the gifts ungiven, so they're going to get at least 3 more spells to get up to storm count 14, and then they should have a second Past in Flames. I think I just want the Graveyard Hate. We can dilute our game plan as much as we want to, but I think we just need to have the Graveyard Hate. That's probably going to be trim a mission briefing then. Sure. So I will actually cover that. The reason our opponent did that exact sequencing was because if he gave me priority, I could surgical the Past in Flames, and then he wouldn't have been able to go off. And seeing as how Mill runs main deck surgicals and extirpates, I can't really fault him for that. We can go tutor our Plague Engineer. We have Crab as well as Surgical. This hand is significantly better than the last one. No fetch land, but significantly better than the last one. We also have Mill 26 on a stick here. Or we just draw the Plague Engineer. And I am going to mill opponent. I actually think we have a relatively fast kill here. Why not? Let's take a look-see. We have 2 Manamorphose, a Grape Shot, an Electromancer, a Peer Through the Depths. Kept in all of their Barals. We have 2 empties. So that Grape Shot and the empty are the only win conditions. So I can Plague Engineer and... No, that's not what I want to do. I have to top deck a land next turn. What I want to do is I want a Scheming Symmetry and then Mission Briefing the Surgical. So I really, really hope I draw a fetch land next turn. opponent has Electromancer, 2 Manamorphose, Peer Through the Depths. Land! Oh, look at that. We're good at this game. So first things first, have to grab this. We can grab... We need a... Yeah, we need a Watery Grave. I did leave Pass and Flames in the yard. So I can mill for a lot here. Opponent doesn't currently have a clock. So I Scheming Symmetry, Archive Trap, Mission Briefing, Archive Trap. They go down to 26. They run out an Electromancer. I can't kill it. They use the Pass and Flames in the yard to kill me. Alternatively, I Mission Briefing the Surgical Extraction. They have 2 Manamorphose in hand. So then the question is, if they're going off next turn, do I just wait for them to put the Electromancer on the stack and then eat their Manamorphose? All right. Yeah. Do I just eat the Manamorphose now? No. They put Dispel into their hand. Okay. That means I have to do it now. That's unfortunate. That Pass and Flames click is going to kill me. I want the land on top. I don't care about the Mesmeric Orb. Then we're going to cast a Surgical Extraction. Sure. Okay, they don't have enough to go off. I left the Manamorphose in the yard again. Oh my gosh. Alright, well. Maybe today was not a good day for Mill. So now they're going to have to Grape Shot to kill my Plague Engineer. Oh, I missequenced that. I actually could have Scheming Symmetried, played the land, or fetched the land, had Hedron Crab mill what they had, and I could have gone and got something like a Narset to make sure that they couldn't go off. Wow, all kinds of struggles right now. Well, when we lose the Storm, it was 100% 13's punt. But ideally what happens here is opponent actually just Scrape Shots the Plague Engineer. And then I can run out another one. They have a Gifts Ungiven. That probably means we lose. Well, if they had a Gifts, they wouldn't have had to float there. Okay. This is going to take 4 cards out of their deck. I get to archive trap them. But then they get to cast their entire yard, and they have a grape shot in hand. Which means I'm casting my hand this turn. As Brad one pointed out, Schemings for a Trap is going to be lethal. Although I can't make them tutor, so I'm actually going to Schemings for a Glimpse here. Empty the warrants? Oh, they only got 2. Okay. So... Again, I was supposed to Schemings first. Oh my gosh. 13 is punting super hard. Well, hopefully they don't have anything good left in their deck because the struggles are really real right now. So I untap, I glimpse past, they die. So they have to kill me with Grape Shot here. They have an empty in the yard. It doesn't matter. If I untap, I win. If I don't, I lose. Well, they get their choice of 9 cards, and we're probably adding this as a loss because 13 apparently can't do any kind of math. So we know they have a Grape Shot in hand as well, so I probably just drew them into a Ritual. Yep. Ritual allows them to Past in Flames. Past in Flames cast their deck. They actually might have tutored for that Baral. The Manamorphose in the bin gives them all the color fixing that they need. So just a million rituals, and I think that's game. Because 13 punted like 8 different ways. All right, well, right now we're currently writing the game plan that Bradwan pointed out, that this might be a new player. Thanks, Bradwan. And if they just go for Gobos here, they won't be able to stick around. They only get 2 blue mana because of the Manamorphose I gave them. Because I'm bad with Surgical. I'll put the rest on the bottom. Yeah, that's fine. They might not take anything. Took no cards. So I don't think they can kill us. They have 2 empties. Oh, yeah, we're at 14. So they cast the Grape Shot, we die, but we'll figure out if they get there. This might feel a little bad when they all die to Plague Engineer. Storm just doing storm things. All right. Yep, they had the Grape Shot from their opening hand. Oh, that's brutal. I 100% punted that. This actually probably would have been a pretty decent league. I did get a little tilted when I did not get their Past in Flames with Surgical, and it's not really an excuse, just what I think happened. I lost a little bit of headspace there, and they ended up taking it. We did run kind of poorly against Phoenix. Like, we could have easily taken the Phoenix match. We just top decked nothing for so many turns that it gave them enough time to get their Arya counters up. We had multiple outs that could have just ended it. Any card in our deck. Echoing Truth would have just bounced the Arya. They would have been off their game. Any mill spell would have milled the 3 cards required. It probably would have been correct to put Crab under the Shelldock Isle. I'm assuming a more experienced player might have made that play. But I was thinking that they would go after our ley line because they left in their phoenixes, and so I wanted a chance to cheese getting stuff out of their yard. But yeah, that right there, that was 100% 13 is terrible at Magic. Well, so far I am actually enjoying the symmetric schemings, despite the fact that I apparently don't know I can mill my opponent after casting it. Ashiok has actually been really good. I'm kind of thinking she might need to be a 2 of, although most people aren't running 2 of her, so it's probably me just overvaluing her. She did do some work. The fact that she doesn't actually stop schemings is probably what's holding her back from being more of in the deck. We also haven't seen an Emrakul deck yet. That's why we actually need the Surgicals. Loxodon Hierarch. I don't think I can keep this. It's so greedy. We're running 22 lands, so that's 21 of 53. We have 2 draws before it matters. What the heck? We're already in the 1-3 bracket. Snow-covered mountain. So this could be Big Red, Scred. I am going to get a basic island here on the off chance that opponent actually just slams a Blood Moon next turn off of a Simian Spirit Guide. But it's looking like it might just be burn. Lightning Bolt means no Chalice. And basics mean that these archive traps aren't really going to do anything. Alright, well, again, I'm not 100% sure on what this is. It could be Mono Red Phoenix, it could be Mono Red Living End, it could be Burn, it could be Scred. The fact that they didn't drop an Eidolon or a Goblin Guide or a Swift Spear yet means it's probably not Burn, but I still have Blood Moon as a very obvious option here. So, Glimpse, see what we got. If it is Burn, we have Crypt Incursion, and it's Big Red. Alright, well, fetched like a boss. Unfortunately, these cards won't do a whole lot. I do feel like we're pretty favored in this, just because they're a little slow to get going. That's a surgical extraction. What do I actually care about here? The Karn's bad. The Simian Spirit Guide's going to keep them off of Big Chandra and Karn. Lightning Bolt is so awkward in their list. Unfortunately, Archive Traps as if an opponent search, so me searching with Surgical is not going to do anything. I probably just need a Surgical Karn. Karn go get Liquid Metal Coating can actually beat us really bad here. If we get priority again, definitely taking Karn. We can also take a look at their deck. It looks like opponent missed their land drop, and they're tanking on what to do with 3 mana. It looks like they might have their last Blood Moon. The fact that they'd have 4 Blood Moons in the top 40 is pretty unlikely, but we have basic, so it might not be worth a whole lot. Oh, dang. Look at that. Should have come to that conclusion a little earlier. Okay, so they're on Anger of the Gods, Blood Moon, a lot of Planeswalkers, Speed, and this is basically the old Scred list with new Karn in it. Alright, well, we have a 4-mana Planeswalker to look down. And just because, yep, can't trap it. I haven't tried yet tonight. I knew it didn't work, but figured we could give it a shot. This Crypt Incursion is super dead. Not going to be able to empty my hand. Glimpse works, though. Odds are super dead. I guess I could actually take the Simian Spirit Guides at some point in time. If they play Scrying Sheets, I could turn on my Archive Traps. Never mind. That's a mountain. Alright, well, let's gain some life. Then this is going to be a Koth, which means I'm taking 6. I'm on a 3-turn clock. I can actually bridge now. And Push can actually be a land destruction spell, given the fact they have Chandra in hand. Although this might actually just be... Yep, they Chandra'd. That's a Hedron Crab. I'm pretty sure that his plus is makes a mountain a 4/4. Yep. So I can Ensnaring Bridge, but it's not going to do anything. Scheming Symmetry is actually game here. Yep, this is Koth. Chandra shoots me. Oh, shooting the crab actually seems relevant too. Koth can add 4 mana, cast the other Chandra. Shoot me for 5 with Chandra's Emblem. Deal 2 with her plus. Yeah, when their deck goes off, it really goes off. But they are currently empty-handed. So send in 2 elementals, cast the card for turn, shoot me for 2. I have to Fatal Push an elemental token to stay alive. But Scheming Symmetry is lethal. What did you hit? Apparently a monkey. Alright, rip his Symmetry. Mission briefing. Yep, that wasn't going to do it. Alright. Echoing Truth comes in. Narset doesn't do anything. Leyline doesn't do anything. Plague Engineers doesn't do anything. They're on the Planeswalker build. Extirpate could technically do something. We don't have a lot. Again, I feel like this is actually pretty favored, assuming that opponent just doesn't hit the Nutter Butters. Or a turn 1 Blood Moon. Archive Trap can definitely come out, though. Collective Brutality doesn't do anything. He can take a Ritual. Yeah, I guess a Ritual on the play seems worth it. Then I guess Extirpate. If we mill something, we could try to take a threat out of their deck. Do they show us anything else that we care about? We have Koth, Bolt, Mind Stone, Skred, Monkey. Actually, I think Crypt Incursion's probably worse than Archive Trap because we can at least enable that. Dismember's bad. Push is kind of okay. It allows us to kill their mountains if Koth is out. But sure. This one might be a little rough. We run a lot of non-basics to try to support what we're doing. I mean, this doesn't do anything. We need a mill engine. If we see him as Maricorp, we're pretty set. We don't have any way to force the archive trap, so we can... Ugh. We have a basic. I think we're going to hang on to this. Tuck the push. They need a Planeswalker online before it does anything. Alright, opponent, show me what you got. Big Red's strongest play is Simian Spear Guide into Ritual into Blood Moon, so that your opponent can't really do anything on the play. Show me the monkey. No monkey. Alright, well, opponent probably kept their bolts in for crabs. Odds are Anger of the Gods and things came out. Hey, there's the monkey. 2 monkeys into a Ritual into a turn 1 Planeswalker. Alright. That's turn 1 Karn. Which means they're going to try to mana denial lock us this game. This is the strength of the deck. Big Chandra really didn't work because it didn't threaten the liquid metal coating. Alright, well, that's an Ashiok, although it's going to be a turn slow. They did use a lot of cards. They have 3 unknown cards. So they probably have land, liquid metal coating, and 2 unknowns. I am going to leave basics. Odds of getting Blood Moon here are kind of low. Yep, there's liquid metal coating. Land destruction starts. That's a really awkward fatal push. Glimpse the opponent, and we're probably locked out at this point. Yeah. I think the Phoenix deck does very unfair things to Brewing in Modern, but I think that this is one of the most mistakey cards ever printed. Like, I can pollute a Delta here, but it doesn't do anything. My out right now is actually drawing a Scheming Symmetry, running out the polluted Delta to Scheming Symmetry, and then hit them with at least 2 archive traps. So I am drawing live to a couple of top decks, but this card was such a mistake. The fact that it can go into any color of deck and threatens to just start land destruction if you hit your nut draw. Even against Amulet Titan, they can have a turn 2 Karn and a liquid metal coating on the same turn. It looks like opponent drew something that is considering doing something else with Karn. Alright, well, hey, look at that, I drew my basic. That's impressive. I'm going to run this out, just incentivize them to keep strip mining me. Opponent looks like they have 4 things that cost 4 mana in hand. They probably don't have Baby Chandra, but they are probably squatting on Big Chandra, Koth, and the like. They kept in the Anger of the Gods? That's disappointing. Like, opponent kept in all the Anger of the Gods. I think Scheming Symmetry is still my best draw. Depending on how long it takes the opponent to actually lock me out of the game, I can still technically win this. So, like, if they just ritual into Mycosynth Lattice, then odds of them searching their own deck are actually really, really low because they're not on fetch lands. But if I can fire off a double archive trap, then opponent's going to have one card left in their deck. Even if I can just fire off one, like opponent needs to start actually putting pressure on the table. Yep, that will do it. If they hit a land drop, which Bane Orb means I can't target them with anything, they figured out that I'm on the archive trap plan, and that's probably going to lock it up. I could fatal push that! Okay, that doesn't do anything. Oh, Island. Does Island do anything? I'm still going to be getting attacked for 3. But it means that Karn is not tutoring another piece of hate. I think I did just lose the game on that draw. I'm pretty sure I needed to draw runner, scheming symmetry, archive trap. But this basically saves me 3 damage and commits Karn to not tutoring something else. Oh boy. Yep. Blood Moon attacks twice, and that takes out all my draws. Alright, well, we tried. We really did. We do go to the 1-4 bracket. Unfortunately, I think I could have played better against Phoenix. I know I've already covered this a couple of times, but Mill did move a little slowly. I probably could have beat Phoenix if I was actually better at Mill. Storm was 100% a punt. I gave them 2 cards in their graveyard that were both required to go off. And then versus, in fact, I think Brad One's line of just popping this symmetry and getting my Plague Engineer would have actually saved us the game. I didn't want opponent to be able to tutor, though. I was waiting to draw another mill piece to go with it. So, yeah. This could have gone better. You'd expect at least a 3-2 out of this. This is a deck that is definitely playable at FNM, but I wouldn't necessarily take it to a GP. There are people that 5-0 with it fairly regularly. In fact, I'll actually try to pull it up while kind of covering this. I did like Ashiok. 3 mana was asking a lot, though. Modern is a very fast format, and I don't really think that you can tap out for an Ashiok, although it did stop things like Hollow One. If you are taking a look at this, we have a couple of 5-0 leagues piloted by other people. This means that this deck is legitimate, but it also means that they hit their good matchups. It definitely doesn't have the win rate of something like Phoenix or Hogak at the current moment. But a couple of lists were playing Manic Scribe. Mill is kind of all over the place. If you actually check out MTG Top 8, you can see 3 lists have actually done kind of well at tournaments at the given moment. So Blueback Mill, and this one is Bug, and this one is Bug. And so being Bug gives you access to Assassin's Trophy, and this guy was running Breaking and Entering. Like, you got a couple of different options. He was also playing Fray Insanity, which I thought was super cute, but I even played with having a single Sphinx's tutelage in my list just so I could go tutor it with the Scheming Symmetry. Wow, he didn't have a Godless Shrine? I don't know. This seemed greedy, but he did all right with it, so I can't really speak much. But there is a reason that this only has 3 finishes versus this one having 144. So, I don't know. That's Burn. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Sorry that my plays were not as tight as they typically are. I am 13, though. I play a bunch of decks for Squirrel Dealer, a lot of Brews or Fringe decks. Tonight was a Fringe deck. If you'd like to show me a cool deck that you've made, or you'd like some input on yours, feel free to email us at decks@squirreldealer.com. Feel free to search for us on YouTube for Squirrel Dealer. We have a ton of stuff up there. I do a bunch of different stuff. We've been streaming for like 6 months. We have a ton of home brews and just some Fringe decks. Feel free to check out all of our content off the Squirrel Dealer staff page on Twitch. It's hosting all of us. You can see my schedule over there on the left. Brad Wan streams on Tuesday and Thursday nights. He plays more competitive decks. If you'd like to reach out to us, feel free to give us a tweet or hit me up on Reddit. Again, happy to answer any of your questions. Check out what you got. And thanks for sticking around, guys. We'll be back tomorrow night with an Orzhov Zombies list, and that one should be fun. It's actually got a draw engine. It's aggressive. It's not going to be able to keep up versus control, but like it's going to be able to at least grind out long games and probably put up a fight against Jun. So really looking forward to that one, and have a good night, everybody.